What is the worst thing you have done because you got confused between items in different hands? Welcome back, guys. If this is your first time, make sure you subscribe because I do these videos every single day. I use my bare hands to pick up my dog's poop. I know my neighbours saw me also. I just kind of played it off. How do you play that off? Rolled the blueberry and ate the dice. A friend of mine once put the remote control in the oven and then wondered why he found himself in the living room holding a sausage. Remote control was destroyed and it had previously spent several days in the back of a freezer because of a similar incident. I think this is one of my favourite stories on here, LaMayo. But who puts one sausage in the oven while holding the TV remote? Tried to put an M&M in my ear and my Galaxy Bud in my mouth. Crunch. Stuck a dog treat in my mouth and gave my dog my popsicle. She was thrilled. How'd the treat taste? It was unpleasant. This was back in the day before all the gourmet dog treats. A good old Kirkland dog biscuit. I was studying my notes, which were in a notebook, while also following lecture slides on my iPad. I tried zooming in on my notes. Happened many more times throughout the semester. I didn't know how to write a certain word and was waiting for the red underline to appear on my sheet of paper to show me the correct spelling. I think I've done that before as well. I went to go and put a scoop of cat food in the washing machine drawer once. I too like my clothes to smell of fancy feast. A couple minutes ago, I unwrapped a stick of gum, stuck the wrapper in my mouth, and threw the gum in the trash. Did you end up eating the gum? I just grabbed a new stick. Rich guy over here with 2 sticks of gum. I wish someone paid me in gum. What? It's becoming clear to me from this thread that humans holding a cup in one hand and literally anything in the other hand is a recipe for disaster. Autopilot is a hell of a drug. It doesn't happen often, but getting to witness another person's autopilot failure is one of the great small pleasures in life. There was an instance in the NBA where Russell Westbrook just started walking up the court with the ball under his arm. When play was stopped because of the violation, his opponent, Steph Curry, said, "What are you doing?" And Russ's response was, "I don't know." This is making me laugh just reading the story. Yeah, there's actually a clip of that online. I was writing while drinking Coke. I ended up stabbing myself in the face with a pencil. Okay, but did you draw with your Coke? Probably made some pretty straight lines, to be fair. I snorted. I bet you did. I have put the house phone in the fridge and left the milk out more times than is healthy. The fridge is now the default first place I look if the phone is not on its cradle. My friend, I am genuinely worried. Phone in one hand, open Pepsi bottle in the other. Threw the wrong one on my bed. 911, yes, I drank my phone. Also, sorry for the call quality. Put a wad of tissues in the laundry basket and threw my socks into the toilet. I once picked up my toothbrush and then instead of picking up my toothpaste, I picked up a tube of cortisone. Luckily caught myself. I also once picked up a razor instead of a toothbrush and just stared at it. Another time I poured water on the floor instead of in the sink. Just imagine someone standing facing away from the sink, angling their glass of water downwards and just staring at the stream of water hitting the floor. Mom has done the same, but poured the glass of water into a dog cage my cat was chilling in. Cat didn't move but stared at her like, what the f***? These are the best moments, especially when you forget what you were planning to do in the first place. Suddenly you have a random object in your hand and you have no idea why. That poor cat. I had a cup of coffee and a little single-serve container of coffee cream. I opened the cream container, poured its contents into the trash, and then dropped the empty container into my coffee. Before coffee fuge is a real problem. The other day I tore open a packet of sweetener, almost poured it in the trash, took milk out of fridge, got coffee in the mug successfully, went to put milk in fridge without pouring any, realised, opened it and almost poured milk into the bottom shelves of the fridge. You are so correct about the fuge. A while back before coffee, I opened the Tupperware cabinet and stared inside for a good minute, wondering why I couldn't find ice cubes. My husband cleans the cat litter box and puts the gleanings in a tied-off plastic grocery bag. He also puts his lunch in a tied-off plastic grocery bag. When he goes to work, he takes both bags outside. One to come with him and one for the trash can. Mistakes have happened. You should get him a lunchbox for his birthday. Threw a glass of water on my bed instead of a book. Why were you going to throw water on a book? Yeah, very good. When I'm snapping the ends off the green bean, sometimes I throw the bean in the trash and the ends in the bowl. Not too funny, but at least it's true. I do this all the time, or if I have two piles, one of the snapped off ends and one of the actual beans, sometimes I'll get confused and end up with a mixture of the two. Then I'll have to go sorting through the piles. This is the most boring story I've ever told on Reddit. I quite liked it. Threw my keys into the recycle bin and attempted to start my truck with a crushed Monster can. Monster truck. Was drinking a hot cup of coffee on the back porch while throwing a ball for my dog. To be fair, it was like 4 AM and the pup wasn't hurt, but my favourite mug got rearranged and the tree got some dirty bean water. I did something similar. My dog drops his ball in his dish before coming in. Usually I toss his ball, then fill his dish in the morning. After a long night with a sick child, I stepped out, looked in the bowl and flung his breakfast scoop into the yard. The grass just looked hungry is all. It's important to feed Mother Nature, lol. He got a new breakfast in his bowl, then grazed like a sheep for the rest of the morning. Your dog thinks you did this specifically that day, just for him. I bet he thinks he knows why too. I wonder what he did that he thinks you were so proud of. I cracked an egg, poured out the egg into the trash, put the shell into a bowl. Do you eat eggs with or without the crust? This. I don't like this. When I was 10, I was watching TV and had the remote in one hand and a hot cup of tea in the other. My dad came in and asked for the remote. Instead of tossing him the remote, I threw my cup of tea and it went all over him. The next morning his chest and legs were red. Now he knows not to challenge you for the remote. Great way to establish dominance. Dipped my tortilla chip in water. Still better than a toast smoothie. I hated the idea of this so much I almost downvoted it. Licked the lid of my yogurt, then threw the full yogurt pot in the bin with the spoon inside. This was my brother, but I was on the receiving end. We were at a country club for a wedding one evening and there were various backgammon games set up. This happened so long ago I don't even remember how to play backgammon anymore, but it was my brother's turn and he was excited. So excited, he slammed his glass of bourbon down on the game board and thrust the dice cup full of dice into his mouth. Totally worth being covered in watered down liquor to witness such buffoonery. This actually made me laugh out loud. Threw away $5, tried to pay at cash register with candy wrappers. I'm cracking up. What did the person behind the counter say? I knew them pretty well, same shop I've been going to all my life, so I started laughing, embarrassed, and explained what happened. Never got the $5 back though. Well, that story is worth a lifetime of smiles, so maybe it wasn't a total loss. Drank paint water whilst washing my brush in my cup of tea. 2 simultaneous ups. This is the kind of fear I always have when painting. Imagine the disaster if you were using oil paint solvents instead of water. I had a lens cleaner spray in one hand and a mouth freshener spray in the other. Guess what I did? Killed a family of 4 and got a new identity? Well, he did say guess. Man, my teeth look clean and my eyes smell nice. I grabbed my banana instead of the conductor's baton on the music stand as I began conducting the orchestra and chorus during a rehearsal. The musicians followed the banana very well, as if it were intentional on my part. Some thought the curve aided in making the performance more expressive. I laughed out loud, and kudos for being respected so much that you are taken seriously while conducting with a banana. Disposing leftover bones into the trash and placing the plates into the sink. I grabbed the bones with my hand and tossed the plates into the trash bin and started washing the bones before realizing what I've done. Friend, you need more sleep. I dipped my chips in the water, had a little I'm such a dumbass moment in my head, then proceeded to drink the salsa. While I was in college, our wind ensemble went to China right after I graduated. They took us to an American-style restaurant one day, and this guy filled up an entire soda cup with soy sauce because he thought it was soda. I hope he didn't drink it because the amount of sodium would be insane. Presenting to the emergency room. Put my box of cereal in the fridge and my gallon of milk on top of it. Stayed that way unnoticed for almost 24 hours. At least you didn't put the milk in the cabinet. Legos bitten instead of snack. I'd be shitting bricks if that happened to me. I had a cup of coffee and a scented candle. I drank the candle. Was it melted? What happened after? Thankfully, the wax was warm but not molten, and I realised what was up before any got in my mouth. My dad almost smoked from the hot part of the bong, and my brother saved him, lol. Only in one hand, but poured a drink onto myself that I was sipping through a straw. I do this way too often. Computer keyboard under one hand, PS4 controller in other, wondering why what I'm typing in computer won't show in PS4. I have one keyboard that syncs to my phone, tablet, and computer. The number of times I've sent random work-related words as text messages to my wife is embarrassingly high. Better that than sending cute love messages to your work colleagues. I had a container of curd in my left hand and a packet in my right. Someone asked me what time it was, and when I proceeded to see my watch, which I was wearing on the left hand, I ended up spilling the curd all over myself as the lid was not tightened enough. Tried to play Wii with my glass full of water, had the controller in the wrong hand. Classic. Not me, but a friend of mine. I was at a party a couple of years ago, typical early adult stuff, so everyone is drunk by the end of the day. I myself can't drink, so I've got a front row seat to this glorious event. My friends were all in the same age group, so newly 21-year-olds drinking their fill. You can imagine what happens next. The bathroom starts filling up with a bunch of new drinkers blowing chunks. My cousin and her significant other happen to be at this party. She's about ready to throw up. Her boyfriend is already taking care of her brother, who had just thrown up. I should mention that the boyfriend is also drunk as fuck. He has a bowl in one hand, half full of the brother's vomit, and nothing in the other hand. My cousin is heaving and all the bathrooms are locked. Trash cans and sink are free, but we were upstairs. No way are these three making it down there. So boyfriend looks at his hand in a drunken daze, then to the hand with a large bowl in it, then to his heaving significant other who's ready to throw up. I look at him and I can practically see his brain trying to tell him what to do. No good, his motor skills are fucked. So in an attempt to help my cousin, his significant other, he hurriedly moves his empty hand to below her mouth and catches all of her vomit in his empty palm. I watch in horror as it spills onto the white rug of our friend's house. The boyfriend, as vomit flows through his empty hand, stares at his other hand with the bowl in it and mouths a silent fuck as he realizes slowly that his body did not perform the way he wanted it to. It's a story we still tell to this day. Great, there's a good story to end on. Thanks for watching, guys.